In its most basic form, the sink is a basin that simply allows water and other things to flow down a drain and out of your house eventually. There are components of the sink that you need to take care of and challenges that can come up along the way. And I know this might sound a little nerdy, but once you understand all of this stuff, you can understand how to clean your sink. So the first challenge has to do with water hardness or softness. The harder your water is that's coming out of your faucet, the more of that calcium, lime, and rust build up, the crusty kind of brown, white, or even green stuff that you're gonna have to deal with. So knowing how hard or soft your water is can inform how you are going to approach cleaning some of these areas. Next is the material that your sink is made out of. My kitchen sinks are stainless steel. Some people might have porcelain or granite. The point is you have to know the material of your sink so that you know how to treat it, what products, tools, and techniques that you can use. In doing so, you will get the best results without ruining your surface. If you're unsure, make sure that you contact the manufacturer of your sink or just check the website and it will tell you exactly what you can and cannot do. And then of course, there's the drain. And the drain is like a little mystery hole. Anything can go down there, but not really. Because under the drain is a little J-trap, and that's where things like food and grease and other things build up and can eventually cause clogs or allow odors to emanate from your sink. So those are the kind of the three main components that I want you to be thinking about when it comes to approaching cleaning your sink. All right, now that you know that, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I'm focusing specifically on daily maintenance of a kitchen stainless steel sink, but you can adapt and apply this to a porcelain bathroom sink or a granite kitchen sink or any combination between, depending on what you need based on the products, tools, and techniques that are safe and appropriate for the type of sink that you have. When it comes to daily maintenance of the kitchen sink, this is something that I would do after the end of a day when I've cleaned the kitchen, everything has landed into the sink, there is some nastiness hanging around at the bottom, and I want it to look relatively beautiful and I don't want it to stink. The first thing I would do, and I'm not going to do it this second, but I would run water and rinse any remaining debris down the sink and have everything end up in the sink traps. These guys. If they're looking particularly disgusting, I might consider putting them in the dishwasher. These are like, honestly, a day away from being dishwashed. Now, depending on how dirty this sink looks, that is going to inform the product that I'm going to choose. Today, I'll tell you, based on my evaluation, what's going on. This is some old smoothie stuff that's stuck at the bottom of this sink. I also have some water spots here and here, and I can see some discoloration, which tells me there's some oil and grease. So I'm going to go in with a bit of a 1-2 punch. I'm going to use some dish soap and some baking soda. I also could use some Barkeeper's Friend instead of the baking soda and instead of the dish soap. The reason I like Barkeeper's Friend is because it is a heavy-duty cleaner. So if my sink is in really bad shape and I want a quick, beautiful solution, I can use this. The thing is, this costs way more than this, so this is for special occasions. You'll notice I'm not running any water. I have a wet sponge, the sink is somewhat wet, and I'm going to work the product in before I start rinsing. Oops, except for that little moment right there. And I'm being pretty thorough with my pressure. I'm working my way from the top around the bottom. And the cool thing about this particular scrubbing pad is that I can actually feel resistance when I'm scrubbing, so I know where to spend some extra time. Now, one thing you want to make sure you're doing is removing your drain cover and sort of swirling your way right down in here, because this is where a lot of stains, odors, and discoloration like to hang. I'll also spend a little second or two cleaning the drain cover, because why not? And I'm not going to waste too much more time here. I've done my work. You know, I don't have to spend all day scrubbing the sink. It just needs a couple seconds. Now I'm going to make my way over to the other side. My sponge is feeling a little dry, so So I'm going to add a little bit of extra water. And to be honest, I don't mind the product sitting for a little bit as well without rinsing it off first. It always does a little bit more work that way. I'm going to switch hands here so you can get a better view. And I'm going to try to roll up. This was not the right shirt to wear for scrubbing a sink today. Just putting it out there. So because I did a quick visual inspection before, I know we have some remnant smoothie over here. So I'm going to give it a little bit of extra TLC down right here at the basin. If you're concerned, if you're like, did I get it all off? You can always just run your fingers along the bottom of the sink. And if you feel any graininess or resistance, you'll know I still have more work to do. That way you're not wasting your time rinsing, looking, rinsing. Who's got time for that? The first thing I'm going to do is rinse this little cloth here before I rinse the rest of the sink. That way I don't need to rinse it in a clean sink. We would not want to do that. Just getting rid of the soap and the debris. Going to wring that out. And now I'm just going to start slowly but surely working my way around the sink. I'm trying to waste as little water as possible. And this is the other thing. If you use too much product, you're going to have to be rinsing for a really long time. So using just the Goldilocks, just the right amount of product, it's going to mean that you don't have to rinse and waste a ton of water either. Now, if my faucet happened to look disgusting, I could have wiped that down as well. But once I'm done buffing this, I'll just use the damp cloth to give it a quick wipe. So I have a dry microfiber cloth here, and I'm just going to have it in quarters and buff. Now, again, I'm doing this slowly and romantically for you because I'm filming a video, but when you're doing this, this should take like 7 seconds per sink. I don't want you spending a lot of time on this because in the grand scheme of your life, it's not that important. That didn't take very long, and my sink looks amazing. Now, if you want a holy grail sink cleaning product, like the thing that all the cleaning people swear by, including myself, it's Barkeeper's Friend. The reason I wouldn't go to this immediately is because there's a cheaper way to solve the problem. I already showed you baking soda dish soap, but if you want the big guns, if someone special is coming over, or if it's a mess, you can shake some Barkeeper's Friend into your sink and your sink is going to glisten. So you're gonna do essentially what you did with baking soda. You're just going to sprinkle some of it in. It also comes in a cream cleanser version. You're going to use the same type of little scrub pad here. And you're just going to give it a good scrub. This is a holy grail cleaning product because it just works so well. What I love about the results of Barkeeper's Friend is it not only scrubs and scours your sink, but it leaves it with this unbeatable shine. You'll see in a sec. The way that you know your sink is really clean is if you look inside and you see the water starting to bead off like this, okay? And then when I use my cloth, I have that beautiful, consistent finish telling me there's no residue, there's no grease, there's no debris left behind. Now, if there is an unfriendly odor coming from your kitchen sink and you're not quite sure how to deal with it, there are two things you can try. The first is kind of this simple, straightforward technique, and the second is the hardcore technique. So the first technique is simply taking about a half cup of baking soda and throwing it down the drain. Baking soda is going to help absorb odors. And then what you can do, you can let that sit for about 10 minutes. And at the same time, you can just boil up some white vinegar. Now, normally, we don't recommend using vinegar and baking soda to clean anything. We've talked about this in recent videos. The two neutralize, they cancel each other out. But in this case, the baking soda helps to break down odors, and then the hot boiling vinegar, wow, that just does it in, because that foaming action kind of helps to push things down the drain. Now, this is going to work for like mild drain odors, but if you really have a big problem, this is not going to be your technique. What you want to use instead is a product like Green Gobbler. I've been talking about this for years. It is safer than the alternative like Drano, and whenever you are cleaning your drain, please remember you are not to mix drain cleaning products. Poison control really gets a lot of phone calls about folks trying to clean out their drains, so just be responsible. Green Gobbler is pretty simple to use. There's a packet of powder, you pour it down your sink, you follow the instructions, you need nothing more than hot water. Kind of gets a sulfuric, like rotten egg smell for a bit, but trust me, it works like a charm. And remember, the less stuff you dump down your sink that you're not supposed to, the less odors you're gonna have, and the less you're gonna have to do this maintenance in the first place. If you really want to get detailed with your sink cleaning, and I encourage you to, you will want to find yourself a little cleaning toothbrush or one of those little teeny tiny scrub brushes that you can use to get into the crevices around your sink, because that is where grime and hard water and other crusty things can build up over time. The simplest way to do it is to take a little bit of dish soap, a little bit of baking soda, and scrub those areas with the grooves. Then you can rinse them with water, buff them dry, and just maintaining this even once a month is going to go such a long way in making your sink look fresh and clean and gorgeous. So now you know the ins and outs of sink cleaning. You know how to make it smell better. You know how to get it sparkling. You know how to get rid of that greasy, grimy, hard water buildup. I've taught you all the things you need to know. And I'd love to know in the comments down below, what cleaning essentials video do you want to see next? We've done a couple of them like this. Basically, I just want to help educate you on how to clean things in the most efficient and effective way so that you can get the job done right the first time. So let me know. And by the way, if you want to get your hands on any of the products that you saw me using, the Makers Cleans one specifically, you can visit makersclean.com, and don't forget to use the coupon code YouTube10 at checkout to save on your purchase. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.